was reading our Gleaner website and I came across this article. Community empowerment is critical in fight against HIV/AIDS. Alright, so when you hear something like this, you're thinking, well, at least I was thinking, alright, so you're going to have some information campaigns and educate the risk of the disease so you can prevent it and so on, and hold the community accountable to prevent risky lifestyle and all these things. So in reading the article, there was a lot of nonsense, to be honest. Talking about World AIDS Day. I didn't even know there was a World AIDS Day. Since when a damn disease have a day? A mostly preventable disease, by the way. It's only the few children who were unfortunately born to HIV positive mothers and got it congenitally, didn't have a say in it. But once you're an adult, this is a wholly preventable disease. And he's saying that they've seen communities demonstrate in very clear terms how HIV response to Jamaica should be guided. And you see this phrase, own lived experiences, this is some woke nonsense phrasing, or your lived experiences. I'm already very skeptical of the merit and validity of people's claim once I start to use this phrase. But let us give him a fair shot. And basically he said that the policies allow people with HIV to live longer and have access or adhere to their medication. So his organization wants a 95 target. This means 95% of the people living with HIV know that they have HIV and what stage that they're at. And 95% of people who know that they have HIV are on antiretroviral treatment. And 95% of people on the treatment have the virus being suppressed. Alright. And then they mention this. UNAIDS. And apparently UNAIDS wants to end the AIDS epidemic as a public threat, and that's a little bit of a very weird one to me. So I decided to check out what they actually have to say about it. So we go to this article. It's about a human rights based approach to ending AIDS as a public health threat. Now, I would like to understand what they mean by public health threat. Unfortunately, they didn't define their terms. Not surprising, because people don't know how to define the term woman. So a rights-based approach is what they're promoting, and it should affirm the dignity of people living with or vulnerable to HIV. Look, there are only two people vulnerable to HIV: prostitutes and battyman. In Jamaica, I've been saying funny man, we mean the same thing. And you see, we're very frank in Jamaica. The scientific community will say homosexual. Alright, people who are attracted and have sexual attraction to the same sex, homosexual, okay. But then you also have like gay and queer and these other almost euphemism in order to not address what it is they are doing, and in so doing it makes you more willing and able to accept that behavior. But what is it that these people do? These are men who like have a man anus. In Jamaica we call it anus batty. Therefore, it's a man who like batty, the batty man. So what they are saying is, this second paragraph is just a word salad, so I'm going to read it out. With the adoption of Sustainable Development Goals, the United Nations member states committed to leave no one behind and to end the HIV. The funny thing, the behind is precisely what they should be leaving alone if they want to end the HIV. But anyway, to end HIV, tuberculosis and malaria epidemics by 2030. Leaving no one behind requires addressing stigma, discrimination, and other legal, human rights, social, and gender-related barriers that makes people vulnerable to HIV and hinder their access to HIV prevention, treatment, care, and supportive services. What the hell did I just read? Firstly, there are no stigma, discriminations, gender-related issue barriers for tuberculosis and malaria. So once again, they are doing a false equivalency and conflating HIV with everything else. So they will package it in something that you agree with. So people say, okay, let's just end tuberculosis. Let us end tuberculosis. Let us end malaria. Let us have the necessary funding and awareness and so on. But then they're going to latch HIV onto it and say, well, it's a disease, therefore it's the same. Then, no, not quite. It is a whole lot easier to prevent HIV than it is to prevent malaria, from an individual perspective, to prevent malaria or even tuberculosis. Provided that you're not living in a cesspool filled with that in the first place. And what exactly do they talk about human rights and gender-related barriers that make people vulnerable to HIV? How that? No, you're vulnerable to HIV on two instances. One, you're promiscuous, and two, you're a batman. Those are the only two things that make you vulnerable to HIV. So there's no legal and human rights and whatever. I don't get any of this. So going down, the fourth paragraph says that these efforts and investments to advance human rights remain insufficient. That human rights challenges, including stigma, discrimination, they keep using these same damn words over and over again. It just, I think it's a tactic that they use to make you literally forget what the point is. It wrap your head in a cloud of nonsense. These efforts and investments to advance human rights remain insufficient. The human rights challenges include stigma, discrimination, inequality, violence against women and girls, the end of sex and reproductive health rights, misuse of criminal law, and punitive approaches and mandatory testing remain among the main barriers to effective HIV responses. You see, by the time you finish, you say HIV responses, you forget the first thing in the sentence. So we have to go through this line by line or word by word. So the human rights challenges that are main barriers to effective HIV responses, and we're going to assume that when they say HIV responses, they mean prevention and treatment. Now, the only two ways to prevent HIV, well, I suppose there are three in total. So you have abstinence, of course. You can use a condom that will remove reduce the possibility. You cannot have sex with Batman, right? But in these HIV responses, I have noticed that they will avoid the easier ones and still say yes, you must still have, so still engage in the act. That is like nearly 20 times more likely to contract HIV. Just use a condom instead, or use PrEP. So you're going to be feeding into the pharmaceutical industry if you're using the medication there. But they never just say, look, don't sleep around and don't have sex with Batman. Won't say it. So how is inequality, stigma and discrimination preventing Batman from not engaging in promiscuous behavior? How that work? I think that they have to sleep around. So because I don't support them, they have to sleep with 5 persons. If only I supported them, then they could sleep with only one. What sense that make? 2 men go into a pharmacy to buy condoms, right? One normal, one is a Batman. Unless you, at the most way, the pharmacist won't know, or the clerk won't know what you are, and they won't refuse from selling you the product. So there is nothing stopping you, even if you're a Batman, from going into the pharmacy and buying a condom. There's nothing stopping you. You just damn not say your problem. And here's the next funny part. This is why these are just buzzwords that have no meaning. Denial of sexual and reproductive health rights. This is talking about fetal homicide, abortion. What role, what benefit, what impact does preventing a woman from recreationally killing her fetus, how does that prevent HIV? You see, this is why I don't trust any of these United Nations nonsense, because they never make any sense and it is clearly politically driven. Anyway, if you are reading this along and you understand what they are saying, and you are able to see what measures they propose in this paragraph, what exactly are the human rights measures that people should undertake in order to reduce HIV? If you got that from this paragraph, let me know in the comments, because this is I don't get this.